3 new films arrive in theaters this weekend, though none of them will likely dethrone Black Phone 2 at the box office. The horror sequel debuted with $27.3 million last weekend, leading the way just ahead of our box office projections. Now it will face Disney's Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, Paramount's Regretting You and Sony's Chainsaw Man. It's also worth noting that this weekend was supposed to mark the arrival of the highly anticipated action sequel Mortal Kombat 2, though Warner Bros. Opted to push it to May 2026 for a summer release. While that would likely have had no trouble dethroning Black Phone 2 in theaters, the rest of the competition most likely will not. The result will likely be a very close race, with last weekend's winner plus the 3 new arrivals hitting low 8-figure marks, and it's possible the race won't be fully decided by the Sunday estimates, but by the full figures released on Monday. Still, we are projecting Black Phone 2 to come out on top with $13.6 million in another lackluster October weekend. Black Phone 2 will be a repeat box office champion. With surprisingly no horror competition in the weekend before Halloween, Black Phone 2 should do better than expected in its second frame in theaters. Box office analysts are projecting a second weekend between $10 million and $12 million for the horror sequel, but given the lack of competition, we're putting it at $13.6 million. Black Phone 2 opened to strong reviews with 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, and while it dropped a bit to its current rating of 73%, it's still well within fresh territory. While late October is typically fertile ground for new horror films, Black Phone 2 finds itself in a unique position without any real competition a week before Halloween. A $13.6 million second weekend would mark a 49% drop from its debut, which is standard fare for most major studio films, with the recent exception of Disney's Tron, Ours, which dropped a disastrous, and potentially demonic, 66.6% in its second frame last weekend. If it continues to hold well, it could have an outside shot at cracking $100 million domestic, which its predecessor just missed, $90.1 million. Chainsaw Man will take a close second-place credit to Mappa Studio. Sony Pictures is aiming to capitalize on the growth in popularity of anime in North America with Chainsaw Man, the movie, arc arriving in wide release. It debuts a month after the studio struck box office gold with Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Infinity Castle, which had a historic debut of $70.6 million. Demon Slayer would go on to become the highest-grossing anime film of all time, $131.3 million domestic, $651.9 million worldwide, and while Chainsaw Man certainly will not come close to Demon Slayer's run, it will show that anime very well may be a force to be reckoned with at the North American box office. While there is no estimated theater count for Chainsaw Man at this time, it's being projected to debut between $11 million and $15 million by various analysts. We're putting it in second place with $13.1 million, just barely missing out on the box office crown by repeat champion Black Phone 2. Springsteen will deliver an underwhelming box office debut. The Bear star Jeremy Allen White takes his talents to the big screen, portraying rock legend Bruce Springsteen in the biopic Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. The film from director Scott Cooper, Crazy Heart, chronicles Springsteen as he makes his stripped-down album Nebraska in the early 1980s, just before his global breakout born in the USA. Critics are already praising the film, with a solid 67% rating from the Rotten Tomatoes critics, though that number could certainly fluctuate between now and the Friday opening. The film is expected to release in 3,400 theaters this weekend, though it's expected to debut somewhere between $8 million and $12 million, most likely in third place. The forecasters at Cinelytic are projecting a $41 million domestic total for the rock musical biopic, and with a domestic total that low, it may ultimately hurt the film's Oscar chances, though that remains to be seen. Still, we're predicting a third-place finish for the big screen boss with $10.7 million this weekend. Regretting You may have a regretful box office opening. Colleen Hoover's 2019 novel comes to life in theaters this weekend, though it looks like many critics are already regretting seeing Regretting You. The drama has earned an abysmal 18% from the first wave of reviews from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, though that could change as more reviews come in. Still, it's not a promising reception from critics. Regretting You, which stars Allison Williams, Dave Franco, Mason Thames and McKenna Grace, is expected to open in 3,300 theaters this weekend, though it won't have a splashy debut like the last Hoover adaptation, It Ends With Us. That debuted with $50 million, en route to $148.5 million domestic and $351 million worldwide from a $25 million budget. The box office forecasters at Synalytic are projecting a $42 million domestic total for Regretting You, with analysts predicting a debut between $8 million and $10 million. Given its icy reception from critics, we're putting it in fourth place with $7.4 million this weekend. Take a look at our full predictions for the weekend of October 24th to 26th below.